Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 1 of Inside Games. This story is about a guy named TC. No, it's not his real name. I would never do that to anybody. TC rose through the ranks of the gang that he belonged to by being a straight shooter. He had no tolerance for anybody that didn't adhere to the strict codes of the street or the codes of the gang. No talking to the police under any circumstances, and most definitely, no snitching. All of that sounded good until it happened to someone that he loved. You see, TC has a younger brother named Kevin, and on occasion, TC would ask his brother to run errands for him. His brother looked up to him. He thought TC was the real deal, so he was more than happy to do anything his brother asked him to do. So I want you to sit back, relax, and listen, y'all, because this stuff happens more than most people realize. TC called home every day to talk to his younger brother, Kevin. Their conversations were like most male siblings. They talked about school, girls, and parties. TC was the typical gang member brother. One minute he would talk like a brother who wasn't in a gang, but he would always find his way back to his lifestyle and his way of thinking. So slowly over time, Kevin's way of thinking became TC's, just like TC's way of thinking. When their parents couldn't get Kevin to go to school and do his chores around the house, they deferred to TC. Over time, TC became more of a father figure to Kevin than a brother. One day, TC called home to talk to Kevin, and during their conversation, a call came in for TC. Yeah, TC, like most leaders of a gang, has a cell phone, y'all. TC, not caring if Kevin heard him discussing business, merged the phone, allowing Kevin to hear his conversation. What up, G? What you got going on today? Said TC. Not much. Just out here holding it down for the calls. I'm just returning your call from earlier about the business, though. Yeah, G, I was trying to get the bag to my girl before visit so I could shake the spot in here and get that bread, you know? Oh, I got you, homie. But what time do you need me to get it to her? She's leaving in an hour heading this way. Can you get it to her before then? Where's she at right now? She's on Broadway. That's about an hour from me in the opposite direction. If she meets me halfway, I got you. If she can't do that, I can call one of the little homies closer to her and have them drop something off. Nah, I deal with you and you alone, bruh. Okay then. I got you the next time she comes to visit. That's what's up, G. Later. So TC hung up the phone and cleared the line. But before he had a chance to speak, Kevin said, I could have picked that up for you and delivered it to your girl before she left. Nah, that's cool. I appreciate it. But I don't want you riding dirty like that. Man, I ain't never been stopped by the police. It just takes one time, bro. And then it's lights out. TC's phone rang. But this time it was his girlfriend, Keisha. Hold on, Kevin, it's Keisha, TC said. TC clicked over and he merged the lines. Hey, baby, what's up? You getting ready to head this way? Yeah, but I thought you wanted me to bring you something. I did, but the big homie just called back. He lives in the opposite direction, so he would have to drive an hour just to get to you. I'll be headed your way by then, Keisha said. Hey, Keisha, Kevin said. Hey, baby, how you doing? Nothing. Talking to my brother. Yeah, you don't need to be talking to him. He ain't nothing but trouble. How you doing in school? I'm good. Okay, don't you get caught up like TC. You hear me? Yeah, I hear you. Okay, TC. I'm heading your way now. It'll take me about an hour to get to you. I'll be waiting. Love you later, Keisha said. Love you too. Then he clicked off the phone. Man, let me get off this phone, bro, so I can get ready for visit. You call me back later. All right, bro. Stay up. Stay up, bro. Kevin sat there for a minute. Then he called Keisha back. Hey, Keisha. It's Kevin. Do you have the big homie's number? Yeah, why? I was on the phone with bro when he was talking to him, and the big homie, he said that he could have had one of the little homies drop something off to you, but he declined. If you call him, I'll go meet the little homie and then bring it to you before you leave. Okay, hold on a second. I'll call him. Keisha clicked over and called the big homie. A few minutes later, she clicked back over and said, give Kevin, and gave Kevin the little homie's number. They'll be waiting for you. Kevin called the number, and they told him to meet on Cheatham Street. When Kevin got there, they had the pack wrapped and ready. Kevin quickly drove to Keisha's house to give it to her. When he knocked on the door, Keisha said, come on in, Kevin. Did you get it? Yeah, I got it. Reaching in his pocket, he pulled it out and handed it to her. Kevin had never seen a pack before. He didn't know what it was. Keisha had seen that look before, so she said, what do you want to know? He said, how are you going to get this to him? I know you can't just walk into the prison with it. I don't have time to explain right now. I'm running late. I'll explain it to you some other time, but right now, I've got to go. Keisha grabbed her keys and put the pack in her purse. Go in the kitchen and fix you a sandwich. I'll be back in a couple hours. If you leave, lock this door. Don't leave my door open. And don't you go into my bedroom being nosy either. She kissed him on the cheek and rushed out the door. When she got to the visit, she told TC what had happened. He didn't get mad about it at all. He admired Kevin for looking out for him. Keisha and TC enjoyed their short visit. It was time to go, though. They hugged and kissed and said their goodbyes. VG closed, yelled the officer. Anytime TC had a pack, he made sure that him and his mule were the last to come out of the visit. By then, the officer would be tired of looking at dicks and smelling farts, so they would rush them through. When Keisha got home, Kevin was sitting on the couch, watching a movie on Netflix. What you watching? Keisha asked, as she sat down next to him. I don't even remember. I fell asleep. How's my big brother? Did everything go okay? Yeah, everything was fine. We enjoyed our visit. He told me to give you some money for looking out for him. She pulled out a $50 bill and handed it to him. Thanks, he said, all excited. Keisha looked at him and laughed. Teenagers are so easy to please, she thought. Kevin stood up to leave. When he got to the door, he turned around and looked at Keisha and said, I figured out how you had to get that pack to my brother. Oh, really? She said. And what do you think about it? I don't know. I just kept thinking how big it was, and before he could get it out, Keisha said, Kevin, sometimes you do things for people that you love that a lot of people won't understand. How do you feel about me for doing that, though? Because she could see that Kevin was embarrassed to say it. So she teased him and said, "It's okay, though. I'm his and his alone. Go ahead and say what's on your mind." Keisha stood up and said, "Yeah, I put it inside of me. Do you think I'm a bad person for doing that for him?" "No, I don't. I just didn't know." "Well, now you do." Kevin walked over to Keisha and kissed her on the forehead. "See you later, sis." Over the next few weeks, TC and Kevin talked a lot, and TC had become more comfortable with him picking up packs and dropping them off. Kevin didn't mind because he was helping his big brother, plus he was making a few extra dollars for himself. Every now and then, he would even pick up and drop packs off for the big homie. And that was really getting him paid. Kevin liked Keisha. After the conversation, he respected her for taking care of her brother. Oddly enough, Kevin never really contemplated how risky what he was doing, nor did he understand completely that what he was doing could easily land him in prison with his brother. Keisha tried her best to explain the consequences he would face if he got caught up, but he wouldn't listen. She knew that as long as she continued to do it herself, that he wouldn't listen to her. But she understood the consequences and was willing to deal with them. If anything ever went wrong, she wasn't so sure that Kevin would. 2 months later, Kevin was picking up a pack for his brother when he got pulled over by the police. They asked him, could they search the car? And like most people, he said yes. When they searched it, they found 2 ounces of cocaine, one soft, one hard. When they arrested him, he started to cry. The officer asked, "Why are you crying?" in a stern voice. Kevin said, "I was just trying to help my brother." Kevin was taken to the police department and booked. The arresting officer talked to Kevin and told him that the best thing to do is to cooperate. Kevin, unaware of what that meant, said, "How?" And the officer explained it to him. When Kevin called his parents, they came to the station and made his bond. On the ride home, Kevin told them everything. Keisha had heard about what happened to Kevin, so she called TC. TC was so upset about it all, blaming everybody but himself. He got off the phone with Keisha and called Kevin. Kevin answered the phone crying. TC tried his best to calm him down. Their mother, she snatched the phone out of Kevin's hand and started yelling at TC, "This is all your fault. This is all your fault," she said as she was trying to scold him and comfort Kevin at the same time. "He said he was trying to help you." TC went straight into G mode. "I don't know what you're talking about. He wasn't helping me." This concludes this episode of Inside Games. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.